also the grandson of Theranos board member and former Secretary of State George Shultz. Tyler, we're so grateful for your time. A lot of us feel like we almost know your story on a personal level because of how it's been documented. My first question to you would just be, did you expect this day would ever come?
Oh man, I've been waiting for this day for a long, long time. Just to give you a little idea, I first met Elizabeth Holmes when I was 20 years old and I'm 31 now. So this saga has largely consumed my adult life. It felt like it would never come, but it finally did.
It sounds like you are happy about some of the verdicts, but not all.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy that she was found guilty for defrauding investors. I'm a little disappointed that she was found not guilty for defrauding the patients, who I think were the real victims. And, I did what I did. I stuck my neck out to help protect those patients, not to protect Betsy DeVos's $100 million investment.
Right.
But I'm happy.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I'm happy that we got 4 guilty verdicts.
It sounds like you were not surprised at her ability to leverage her storytelling prowess during the trial. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, but do you think that was a part of her defense?
Definitely. So Elizabeth is an incredible storyteller. She's very charismatic in person, and she was able to suck in very high profile, smart people into this reality distortion field. And when she took the stand in her own trial, she tried to do that again. And luckily, the jurors saw through this and were able to give her that guilty verdict.
Tyler, there's probably nobody who's thought more about this than you have. So at this juncture, with her now found guilty, what do you tell our viewers are some of the lessons here from your perspective?
Well, I think a big lesson here is that this Silicon Valley idea of fake it till you make it and constantly iterating your product and testing that product on new users really does not work when it comes to healthcare, because at the other end of that product, there's a real person who may have a real medical condition, and you really can't play with people's lives like that. So I think this move fast, break things kind of model just does not work in healthcare, and I'm happy that the CEO who was implementing that on real people is being held accountable.
Tyler, there are some, certainly many of our viewers who may not be that familiar with your story. Obviously, you're the grandson of George Shultz. There was a break in your family to a certain extent when you aligned yourself with those who said, hey, wait a second, things are not right here at this company. Where do things stand for you right now personally? And what would you tell other whistleblowers who perhaps looking at your story would be somewhat reluctant to speak up?
Yeah, so personally, I was able to reconcile somewhat with my grandfather before he passed away. The rest of my family, my parents have really had my back through thick and thin. So luckily I've had that through all of this. But it has been a really challenging journey. It took a huge financial toll, it took a huge emotional toll. And blowing the whistle is a really lonely process. And I think moving forward, what I really want to focus on is help to make this journey less painful for future whistleblowers. So right now I'm working with a great group called the Signals Network that works to connect whistleblowers to journalists, to lawyers, to therapists, and even safe houses if necessary. And they really do a fantastic job. So I hope to continue working with groups like that to take the lessons that we've learned from this Theranos experience and hopefully make things better in the future.
Yeah, lonely, but certainly brave. Tyler, I wonder if you think this sets a precedent for more companies, more entrepreneurs, more founders to be scrutinized more closely.
Yeah, well, I hope that this has shown that you really do need to distinguish between vision and reality, what is happening today and what you hope to happen with your company in the future. And in Silicon Valley, again, those lines often become very, very blurred when entrepreneurs are competing with each other for capital, and it's tempting to say things are a lot better than they are in order to secure that capital. And I think it's good that we have this, at least one case of severe consequences when that has been taken too far.
You know, you raise an interesting point, Tyler, because Tim Draper, for example, who was a longtime defender of Holmes, said if this scrutiny happened to every entrepreneur as they tried to make the world a better place, we'd have no automobile, no smartphone, no antibiotics, no automation, and our world would be less for it. He says it's investing in progress, meaning you don't quit, even when your product still doesn't work. You think that's valid at all?
I see his point, but I do disagree with it. I think that a lot of investors are looking for founders who will, you know, run through walls to accomplish their goals, who absolutely refuse to fail. But I think there's a time when it is the responsible thing to do is to fail. And I think Theranos went way past that point.
Tyler, you know, finally, Elizabeth Holmes herself, I was able to spend a bit of time with her. You know, it was an off-the-record setting. She was quite compelling in terms of telling her story and conceivably telling a lot of lies. You know, what do you tell people now about this story, given the guilty verdicts that we've got here?
I mean, what I'm telling people now is that, you know, it's just, you know, for me, it's been a long journey, and I'm finally happy that it's in my rear view mirror. I mean, personally.
Tyler, we are grateful to you for sharing your thoughts. Obviously, what an ordeal for you and your family. Appreciate it very much. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Tyler Schultz. As we go to break, get a check on the markets here.